Welcome to Small Biz Life, episode 92, How to Simplify Your Life.
Does this sound familiar?
Oh my God, I have so much to do today.
Don't forget to breathe.
But I have almost 400 emails in my inbox and 30 phone calls to make.
Have you looked into getting a virtual assistant yet?
Oh, and I need to schedule all my social media posts.
Did you drink anything today?
I had coffee.
Did you eat today?
Did I mention coffee's a bean?
This is Small Biz Life.
Hey guys, welcome to another action-packed episode of Small Biz Life. We are excited that you are here with us this week. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much for being here again. And if you're a new listener, thanks for joining us. This is a topic that is really important to us because I don't think we would be where we are right now had we not really simplified our life down. And if you know anyone who could benefit from simplifying their lives, please share this episode with them.
Yes, because we are Jeffrey W. Ingram. I'm an IT analyst or IT professional. I'm no longer an analyst, I guess. I am the Chief Business Systems Officer of Ingram Digital Media.
And my name is Kristen Ingram. I am a CPA and CEO of Ingram Digital Media.
Yeah. And here we just, we like you to live forward to your dreams. And then we like to help you level up your business so you can start living your dreams or getting closer to those dreams every day.
Yeah. And I think, small business owners, I think we spend a lot of time trying to, become more efficient in our business. And we don't necessarily try to make our life more efficient.
And the problem is, and this is something, in America, we often get accused of being too short-sighted. And we really end up being, we get caught up in minutia. We love making to-do lists and coming up with great ideas and then, never really thinking forward to how do we get there? What are the steps that we need to get to where we're going? And we really think that one of the biggest things that you can do is simplify your life.
Right. And, a couple episodes ago, and we'll link it in the show notes for this episode, which you can get at smallbizlife.com. We talked about how you have a limited amount of brain energy, right? So the more decisions you're trying to make throughout your day, the more you're burning up that energy and the slower your brain becomes. And, if you kind of get that brain fog in the afternoon, that's one of the reasons that happens. And so, simplifying your life frees up your brain power, it frees up time, and it frees up money.
We all have certain size tanks, right? Mine is very small. Kristen's is very large. All joking aside, though, we really do, and food and sleep are really keys to refueling up the brain. However, there are things that we can do in our life when we simplify it that will actually also aid because it helps remove the decision making from the mundane work that we don't like to do in life, like, house cleaning and stuff.
Right. So we're going to talk about some things that we've implemented in our lives, which helps us free up time to work on our business and to just have fun with each other. Yeah. Because, I think especially for female small business owners, they're focused on their home and their family and their business. And you kind of get pushed, to the back burner. And so part of the reason we want to do this episode is because a lot of times we're told by business owners that, well, I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to, do things that I want to do. And unfortunately, they're not willing to prioritize themselves, right? Which we hope that you will do that. But if we can't get you to do that, then we're going to help free up some time for you so that you can go, wow, I can do something for myself.
Yeah.
So that's where we're headed today. Okay. So we want to start today by talking about simplifying your home. And I think that the most important thing when you're thinking about simplifying your home is minimizing your stuff.
And this is not necessarily always easy. A lot of times we do have emotional attachments to a lot of stuff in the house. Like Kristen has this obsession with storing old computer cables and stuff.
Oh, that's my obsession. Right.
But really, we hold value onto things that we never really take the time to go through usually. So, some of us do. Some people are obviously better than other people. This is something I've never been great with. So I've really kind of had to layer this onion into my life, where it's like I will sort of gather, and I've become better at not gathering things I don't need, but slowly getting rid of the things that I have that I really don't need. I just think I need.
Yeah. And, we're not like taking a weekend and like going through the whole house. What we've kind of done is we do it gradually.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll take a room, and we'll go through like all the books in a room and say, okay, do we really love these books?
Yes.
We're going to read these books again. Yes. Jeffrey loves every single book we have, which if you've seen any of our live videos, you usually see the bookshelf with all of the books in it. And I think one thing that really helped me do this is I was reading The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. And this book has been out for a while. But one of the things I really liked about the book is that it doesn't just talk about the fact that you need to get rid of stuff and you need to be minimalist. And but it actually talks about like how to get rid of things and the psychology behind separating your attachment from your stuff. It's funny because our goal a couple years ago was that we wanted to be able to move anything that, if we sold our house and moved, we wanted to be able to put everything we own that was important to us in a pod. And so if you think about the size of a pod, it's not really that big. And that kind of helped to say, okay, if we were going to move, like what would we really want to take with us?
And then on top of that too is when you start to think more about it is, well, if I don't need to move, but I necessarily need it when I get there. And there'll be certain things that we will need, like maybe a place to sit the next time we move. But in general, a lot of the stuff that we have, we really don't need. We'll never watch that DVD again. We'll never see that movie again. We will never use the telephone line that came with the old fax machine. It won't be used ever again.
Well, and the thing is too, that I found is that through going through this exercise, the things that we do have, we really love. Like we tend to pick up like, a piece of pottery when we go traveling to other countries. And so we've got like some vases that are really meaningful for us and make us think about those trips, versus getting, like t-shirts and multiple things. We kind of pick one piece that we're like, this is really cool and we want to bring this home. So just kind of thinking about the stuff that you have in your house and whether or not it's important. And the reason that this isn't, that this is important for you, the less stuff you have, the less stuff you have to clean, the less stuff you have to reorganize, the less stuff if you want to move that you have to pack. And so it's not just about having less stuff, but it's about the weight that removes from your life.
Or two, it's like you don't need coverage of every corner of the room with furniture. Do you really? I mean, we have for where we live, a decent sized living room. We have one couch in there with decent seating, and that's all the chairs in there. There could be other chairs here, other chairs there, but you could put several more chairs into the room, but there are whole sections of the walls with no furniture. We got rid of the hutch and the dining room table because we did use a dining room table occasionally, but the hutch really was a way to store more stuff and to have more dust gather stuff. And is it worth it?
Right. And so, if you're one of those people like, my God, it takes forever to clean my house, how much of that is because you're picking up stuff and you're cleaning that stuff and you've got to clean around that stuff. And, this morning I was going through vacuuming the house, and it took me 15 minutes to vacuum the house because I don't have a lot of stuff I've got to move in order to vacuum.
And where I get the idea that knickknacks are cool, and we do still have some knickknack stuff. Don't get us wrong. The thing is, we had a lot more knickknack stuff than we could ever put out.
Mm-hmm.
But, you store it in the basement in boxes, and then, that's just more stuff that, is going to get the dust from the floor, floor above it. So once again, if you never use it, why do you keep it? And some things do have attachments, like sentimental attachments. And I can understand that, but and I'm not saying get rid of that stuff, but take some time when you go through to verify that it's there and it's worth the effort.
Right. And I would argue too that if you've got sentimental stuff that's in boxes, put it out.
Yeah.
If there are pictures that you have, create a collage and frame it and put it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because to have those things that are so important to you in boxes because you don't have room for them because you have other stuff.
How much sentimental value is that?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a bunch of old pictures and you have room for them all. I remember my grandmother and my mother used to do this crazy thing when they put them into an album.
Mm-hmm.
You could digitize the pictures today and put them on a computer and get rid of the originals, but maybe you don't want to get rid of the originals, put them in one of those old photo album things.
Well, and the thing that's pretty cool today too is that like you could actually digitize all those pictures, and then like on our TV, we can actually connect our TV to one of the computers. Mm-hmm. You could actually like use that as like background and have those pictures going like all the time.
Yeah. Or like when you have guests over, but it's not to watch the TV, you could use the TV to scroll these important pictures from your ancestry, from, all of those days gone by, and just have a sort of moving slideshow, which is just there in case people wanted to look at it.
Yeah. So, I think so that's like the most important thing I think is like minimize your stuff. And a lot of this episode is going to be about minimizing in different areas of your life. The second one is to automate your home maintenance. We've mentioned on the show before about looking at outsourcing different aspects of your home maintenance, whether it's your cleaning or your lawn care or, fertilizer, whatever it is. A lot of people tell me I can't possibly do that. Mm-hmm. I can't possibly, pay someone else to do that.
And there might be truth to that. And we'll get to that, a solution for that a bit later. But a lot of times that's more stubbornness. Recently, our lawnmower died last year. And I was dead set on replacing it and going about life the way it was. And then we really went to think we have about an acre of lawn, so I need a tractor or else it takes way too long to mow. But tractors are expensive. And then we kind of started looking at the price to actually have someone else do it. And well, if you consider the gasoline and maintaining the vehicle every year, really it takes years of use before the lawnmower pays itself off. But it doesn't give you the time back.
Exactly. And that was really, typically when I'm counseling clients that are having trouble with time, they don't have enough time. When we get, we really dig deeper into this issue of paying someone else to clean your house or to mow your lawn. It's typically when we dig down that they don't value their own time. Mm-hmm. So they can't imagine... like we pay $60 a week to have our lawn done. Mm-hmm. And they do all the trim and they take care of the lawn and they make sure the brush doesn't get crazy.
And trust me, it looks better than if I would do it.
It does. It really does. And, but to recover that time, because for us to do all that in our yard would probably take at least 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So that's $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't think your time is worth $15 an hour,
you're probably doing the wrong work.
Yeah, you should reach out to me and we should have a talk. Mm-hmm. Because your time is worth that much.
Yeah.
Your time is worth much more than that. And I understand that there are people who have money crunches, but imagine what you could do in your business if you spent that 4 hours a week on marketing and obtaining new clients.
For all the people who say they don't have the time to do the outreach, do the networking, could it be recovered from just that? and you're probably breaking even money wise anyway. So as you know, we have the one-time purchase of the lawnmower, so we think it doesn't cost us anything. Well, besides the gas, besides the oil, besides sharpening the blades, besides belts breaking, besides all of the other things that happen in the lifetime of that piece of equipment. So it does still cost us money over time, just a lot less than the $60 a week. But that one upfront purchase starts to really kind of approach that level of money anyway.
Right. So, you know, that's something that we really want you to look at. Now, the next thing, and this is something actually, this is an idea that I got from my mom.
Everyone, cleaning device will get hooked up with Barbara.
Yeah. My mom, her home is like museum quality all the time. Unfortunately, I did not inherit that gene. But one thing that she did for us is she put together like a cleaning kit. And it's a bucket with all of the cleaning stuff in it. And so that, as you're going around your house, and even if you're like spot cleaning, like you're doing your bathrooms in between, you know, let's say you have somebody who comes in once every 2 weeks to clean your house. And, you know, but in the weeks between, you're going to, you know, just quickly kind of wipe everything down, do the toilets.
Yeah.
So I have this bucket and I just pick up the bucket. It's got everything I need in it. I don't have to hunt down cleaners, because before I'd be like, wait, is the toilet cleaner in that bathroom or the other bathroom or the bathroom downstairs or under the sink in the kitchen? And I'd have cleaning stuff all over the place. This little bucket has saved me so much time because I know where the whole bucket is. I grab it and, you know, I can do a quick clean on 3 bathrooms in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something I think has been super helpful for me. Also, you know, if you're having trouble with like clutter around your house, right? And typically, you know, if you have kids, you've got kind of stuff that's all over the house, right? And so one thing, and you can get the kids involved with this too. So I remember when our nieces lived with us, you set a timer and you say, okay, we're going to pick up as much as we can in 15 minutes.
Yes.
And we would go and we would put on music and dance around, and, you know, and this still works, you know, even if you don't have kids, this works great, you know, and just pick up what you can in that 15 minutes and give yourself some grace.
Yes.
Especially if you have children. You know, your house is not going to be perfect. It's just not. We don't have any kids. We have cats. Okay. But we've had times during our life where we've had kids living in our house, and
they're about as messy.
Yeah. The cats are probably about as messy as the kids were. But you kind of have to give yourself some grace and say, you know what? The house is not going to be perfect. Is my kitchen clean enough that I can cook in it? Okay, cool. You know, are my bathrooms clean enough that, you know, I feel comfortable using them? Okay, cool. Do we have clothes to wear? Okay, cool. And sometimes you just have to say, you know what?
We don't need clothes.
Well, that's your solution. You know, but sometimes you just say, you know what? Yes, there are cat hair tumbleweeds, you know, that are, you know, blowing down the stairs, and I'll get to those when I can. Give yourself some grace, please.
I think another big one too, which I actually had to kind of twist Kristen's arm to get our last vacuum cleaner because it was expensive.
It was.
And,
it was like $600.
It was $600, but you know what? It replaced all of our other vacuum cleaners. And it's not perfect if you're the kind of person who will vacuum for 8 hours a day. Its battery is not strong enough for that.
But it is strong enough that I can go through the whole house.
Yes.
In
15 minutes and vacuum the whole house. And so we picked a very good vacuum cleaner that worked well, was small and light, and had no cables, because those were all of the things slowing her down. Sometimes you have to spend a little bit more, but otherwise we're buying one of those little handheld vacuum cleaners, and then one of those vacuum cleaners with a bag, so it would have good enough suction to keep going. And so we had a couple different vacuum cleaners that we could get rid of all of those with just this one. And then because there's just one vacuum cleaner in your way, you don't have to then spend time cleaning up the vacuum cleaners that you're not currently using, because they've also gathered dust.
Yes. And we had that happen before, where we had vacuum cleaners. We had one on the second floor because there was a pain in the butt to move them from floor to floor. We had one that was better with cat hair. We had a little one that we could use on the stairs. And we just ended up getting like this Dyson handheld. It's like a stick vacuum, but it's incredibly powerful. It vacuums everything. It does a good job, on the floors. It does a good job on the carpet. It sucks up kitty hair like nothing I've ever seen.
Which is very important, actually, in our selection.
In our house. Like, it does a really good job on the couches. Like,
cleans up chairs really fast.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, so I can vacuum the whole house in 15 minutes, and I don't have to worry about cords. The attachments are really light. Now, mind you, it was a $600 vacuum, but the amount of time that it saves me, and I find that I vacuum more often now because it's not such a pain to do it.
To pull it out, untangle the cord, plug it in.
Mm-hmm. So, sometimes you have to look at quality first, rather than just focusing on price.
And trust us, we've been in different financial situations. We understand sometimes budgets win, and you should let them win. But that's, I think, one of the things we should probably talk about enough is how to simplify your money.
Yeah. So let's shift to that. So that way you can buy that awesome $600 Dyson vacuum. And we'll link that in the show notes also. Because it is, especially if you have pets, it's an amazing vacuum. All right. So let's talk about simplifying your money. One of the first things that we did is we automated everything. We automated money coming in and we've automated money going out. Yeah. Everything is on autopay. Everything is on autopay. And I know that there's some people out there that are kind of worried about that because as I'm working, with clients to do this, both in their home and their businesses, they're like, well, but I have to see the bill. Like I have to make sure it's right. When you put things on autopay, it doesn't mean that they're going to get paid the day the bill comes out. No. They get paid the day the bill is due. And so if you get your bill and there's a problem with it, you dispute the bill.
Yeah, my suggestion is, keep an Excel file with your bills and when they're supposed to be paid. And so you remember to go check them. Most of these systems will automate you when your bill's ready. You'll get an email anyway. Make sure to have those flags so you notice them in your email, and or set up an Excel file where you have all of the dates and the links to go through, and just check them. Because guess what? You still have to fight all of the customer service calls. Don't go away. But you will save time.
Yes, and I think one thing that has really helped, because like now we're at the point that I know when all the bills come out. Now, when we had like $220,000 in debt, trying to remember when all those payments were due was a little bit more difficult. So, the second thing to simplify your money is pay off your debt. Yeah. Not only is that incredibly powerful mentally, right? Because it will relieve so much stress from your life. But it also makes your bill paying a lot easier.
It is the freedom maker.
It really is. Yeah. It's one thing for us that Jeff would not be home right now if we had not paid off our debt. Jeff would not be home right now had we not built up an emergency fund. These things are critical. Yeah. It's really funny because we came back from vacation about 36 hours ago, and we took a shower the morning after we came home, and water started dripping into the kitchen. We had a leak from the master bathroom that was dripping down a light fixture. Yay, water and electricity.
Yes, right. They mix so well
into the kitchen. And so now it's natural that when water is dripping down a light fixture, you start to freak out a little bit. But then we realize, like, wait, we have a big fat emergency fund. So even if this results in like needing a new bathroom, which we didn't think it would, we can cover this. Yeah. Like, we'll be okay. And so I think, at least for me, it made me feel a lot better.
Yes. Or for me, when I got the bill from the contractor this morning, I felt better because it was actually less than I thought. So
Right. But still, but it was like, had this happened 8 years ago when we were broke, we would have both freaked out.
Or if 8 years ago we did not pay off our debt and I was still in my current job where they're having massive budget issues and layoff talks are swirling and there's uncertainty every year. There were layoffs last year. There will probably be some this year, and who knows going forward. And it's probably going to get worse there. Not only would I have the stress of having all of the same bills and debt that we used to have, but I couldn't get away from the job causing me stress, not from the people, not from anything in particular about the job, except for the uncertainty. Watching your friends get laid off is not easy. And there's so much freedom, and both of those things really free up your mind for other activities because they really will suck the life right out of you. So if you're in debt, you really need to put a plan together.
Right. And the thing is, I think for us, as we were paying off our debt and the amount was going down, I was much more deliberate about my business. Mm-hmm. I was much more deliberate about who I took on as a client, who I let go as a client, the number of hours that I worked. Because when you're broke, you go into panic mode, right? And you sometimes make poor decisions about money. And sometimes you set your prices too low because you just are trying to get Jeffrey never did that. You set your prices too low, or you won't invest in things your business really needs,
like marketing, and you make bad decisions and your business ends up growing slower than it would have had you not had all that debt.
So if this is something that you're struggling with, reach out to us through the website. If you're on our newsletter list and you get one of our emails, respond back. We'll give you some resources to take a look at. But this is incredibly important. And when you add what we talked about, minimalism, where you're not buying a whole bunch of stuff and bringing it in to the house, and you're paying off debt, so your monthly expenses are very low. It's kind of amazing what your life can look like.
Yeah.
And we'd love to see you all achieve that.
If nothing else.
Because it's really awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. We just got back from 5 days in Clearwater, Florida. Just like hanging out at the beach, we put autoresponders on all of our email. And it was awesome.
Checked in on HQ a little bit, and that was about all we did.
Yeah. It was awesome.
But the other thing on top of it too is you still should watch your purchases, because once again, or else you get back to that problem in the first place where you have too much stuff. And so there's a couple. I'm not going to say the term that just came to my mind. There are a couple things to keep in mind when you do this, and they're not rules of thumb. First, like if you're in the store and there's something you see and you go, "Oh, I really need this." If it's something small, don't put it in your cart. Finish your shopping. Go back if it was a non-planned purchase and go, do I really need this now? If you don't need it now, wait till the next time you go to the store and see if it even comes up again. Because chances are it's just your brain going, ooh, 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 shiny. I know it's a problem I have. And you want to buy and get it right away. But if you don't really need it, try and think about it. And if it's something small and you think you need it, it's not going to hurt you. Just wait to the end of your shopping trip to go back and pick it up. But it gives your brain a chance to process whether it really needs it. And if it's a major purchase, even if your family's worked out a deal where like you're in charge of buying the new computer, you're in charge of buying the new television. If you find the one that you think you want, don't just press the button. Take a minute, sit down with your significant other and talk to them or talk to a friend about it and make sure that it's really the one you want.
Yeah, I found because Amazon makes it so easy to just buy stuff, right? It's so easy to just say, especially one touch, one click ordering. I turn that off That is actually turned off on my Amazon account. But what I'll do is, I'll go in, like, usually I've got a list of stuff. Like, I make an Amazon list, and I'll try to order stuff like once a week rather than every time we need something. And I found that when I do that, I actually buy less stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing all the impulse purchasing, And waiting, 24 to 48 hours for a major purchase, even if you're shopping online and you put it in your cart and then go back to it like 2 days later and see, is this really something that I want?
Because you really might want it, but realize there's a consequence to having it. 74-inch television is much nicer than the old 72-inch you had, or 60-inch or wherever you're moving from. But you probably really don't need it today. So take time to think about it. Does it really improve the quality of the life of you and the people who live with you? Yeah,
because, one of the things that we found related to money is when we spend money on experiences, like the trip that we just went to, or we went to a friend's wedding a couple weeks ago, those are things that you're going to remember forever. The 74-inch TV that you have on the wall, not so much. From the guy's perspective. But, it's like, I will always remember like all the fun that we had on that last trip. Just, driving around, exploring and, laughing together and watching the sun go down.
Living with me is being with an explorer is like, we'll try out this road now.
And and we spent like 5 days doing that, and it was such a blast. But that's the kind of stuff that we're always going to remember.
But an extra 2 inches on the TV would be great too.
I think we'll be fine. I think that the next two really go together. Live simply and be grateful for what you have. It was amazing. We went out to dinner with one of Jeff's friends who is from India. And he was talking about how poverty is different in his home country than what it's like here. And I think that we forget how amazingly lucky we are to live in this country with the things that we have.
Well, I think his major point being too was, if you go to most upper class neighborhoods in India, they are much more similar to what we call ghettos in the United States. They're smaller, but people have cell phones, people have televisions. Lots of places in India don't even have that.
Yeah, a lot of middle class people in India don't have televisions.
So the thing is, there's more that we always want, but if we're not grateful for the things we have, not only do we just add needless stress to our life thinking that we actually need that 2-inch television because we need it, because our life is not complete until we have it. We also, in a way, we're disrespectful to the people who actually can't afford a television, who can't afford a cell phone, for their child to call them in case they get in trouble. Not everyone can do that. So there's nothing wrong with trying to achieve more and having more and to give or to have a little bit nicer stuff ourselves. But you know what? Be grateful if you only have a little bit smaller television. Maybe you still have an old tube television, but it still works. Be grateful for it, because you know what? It's still providing you the service that you got it for. And no, it's not the optimal. It's not the best. But you know what? It still works, and you still can consume entertainment through there, which will at least alleviate some of your pain.
Right. And so I kind of want to have a little bit of a difficult discussion with you guys. I often find people who overspend, it's not because they're not intelligent. It's not because they don't know what's going on. It's typically because there is a void that they are trying to fill in their lives. Either something that they are unhappy with themselves about, or something that has happened to them in the past. And this is a coping mechanism for them.
And the reason they overspend is because none of those things they buy actually fill the void, or they never will.
Right. So, you get this little momentary, feeling where you kind of get this little exhilaration of, the new thing.
Yeah.
But that fades really quickly. And if you've tried to put together a budget, and I've had people approach me like, I've tried budgeting before. I've tried, automating, and, I've tried doing, using cash for groceries, and I spend the money. And if that's the case for you, then you need to go talk to somebody.
I mean, start with yourself, because you'll never buy enough stuff to fill that void. If you don't have the willpower to tell yourself no, you have a deeper issue, and you probably just have not yet identified it. And you might need a lot of help from someone else, or maybe if you can figure it out on your own, you don't necessarily need to go to that step, but you need to find out what is the cause. Because you know what? Having the world's largest yarn stash, having the most empty beer cans, there are lots of things that people get and they have way too much of. And I'm not judging them for doing those things, because maybe some of the people who have a lot of this stuff are happier because of it. But the thing is, if you can't say no to yourself on the next one, you can't say no to yourself. Now, if I am telling you this as a person, you're going to defend yourself. There's no need right now because I can't hear you. But the thing is, if you can't tell yourself no, you have a deeper issue you've not yet identified, and it's causing problems in your life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the wonderful thing is, though, is that when you identify that within yourself, you can get the help you need. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Because the best gift you could buy yourself is freedom. And finances are the best path to your freedom. Having more income than expenses will make your life better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, like we said, Jeff would not be working in the business if we still had all that debt.
No.
Because we would need his income. And we had, I know we mentioned this before on the show, but the business got to the point where we needed the additional manpower, the additional time, more than we needed the money.
Yeah.
And it was really cool the first time we said that.
Yeah.
Because for so long, we had been in this mode that we needed the money. We needed the money, right? Because we had to pay off the debt and we had to make all those payments. It was incredibly liberating to come to that point.
And even if you don't make that choice because you determine that you kind of like the day job more, it doesn't matter. You have the choice. If you decide to move your family and you have more income than expenses and you can maintain that somewhere else, you have the flexibility to move to where you want to. It's not our incomes that typically restrict us. It is the debt we have that chains us to the things in our life that we despise. And you are hurting yourself. You are potentially hurting the people around you directly. Indirectly, you are definitely hurting them. But maybe even directly, you're hurting them by your lack of choice in your life. And understand, and you can say whatever you want to me, but in your soul that it is something that you do have power over.
Amen. Okay. All right. We're going to get a little bit lighter now. Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. We'll see. So, all right. So I want everybody to take a deep breath. Okay. And we're going to keep going.
Because we got cupping and tapping, if you know what that means.
Right. We got one more segment we're going to do. I know the money thing is tough, and for a lot of people, that's a major struggle for them. Like I said, go to our website, reach out to us. We've paid off a lot of debt. So, if that's something you need help with, let us know. Okay. The last thing we want to talk about was simplifying your routine.
Yeah.
The reason that routines are so important is because they make things automatic in your head. So, I get up, I do my steps, I take a shower, and my brain goes, okay, we've taken a shower, we've gotten dressed, we've got coffee. We have hit all the requirements to begin the workday.
Woohoo!
And my brain turns on.
And it's not just about the miracle morning. It's the miracle evening. It's the miracle lunchtime. Have routines in those parts of your life to minimize using that energy tank of your brain.
Yeah, and I think it's really important because, a lot of times we focus on morning routines. There's a great book by Hal Elrod called The Miracle Morning, which Jeff just referred to. You also need to have an evening routine.
Especially if you have trouble sleeping, it's probably more important.
And the thing is, again, how many times at the end of your workday are you so tired that you don't want to do things? But when you create a routine, your body will kind of fight to do those things.
It's kind of like when you do the same physical activity over and over again. You use a screwdriver a lot. You use a wrench a lot. After a period of time, you get what's called muscle memory. And you can just start doing that activity simpler, I guess. I've never got there with a wrench or a screwdriver, but I hear that it's possible.
It does happen. It really does. And it's like we even have routines like we will put a load of laundry in as part of the morning routine and then flip it over at lunchtime as part of the lunch routine and hang everything up as part of the evening routine.
Should we make the cats do that? That's how they earn their keep.
Yeah, I don't see the cats doing laundry. But it's like one of those things. And so instead of spending like an entire day doing laundry, we do one load a day as needed.
And the math is simple too, right? If you typically do 5 loads of laundry a week, that's 5 days a week you should be doing a load of laundry. And it sort of spreads out when you do it. But especially if you're like me and you really don't care what goes together, it's really easy to follow this. Kristen's a little more picky than me, though, so we have to kind of split things up. But, if it takes you 5 loads of laundry to get through the week, do one Monday, do one Tuesday, do one every day. And then on the weekend, if something happens, you have extra laundry, do a load then. But, when the hamper gets full, the laundry gets done.
Well, and the thing, that's cool with that, we actually have this hamper that has like 4 bags on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we have our types of laundry broken out into those 4 bags. That's 4 loads of laundry a week if we fill them all.
We have 1 laundry bag. We have something for Kristen's dress clothes, something for Kristen's sweaters, and something for Kristen's whites.
Pretty much. That's how it works. But I think that routine, because I remember like we used to have a laundry day.
And we skip that every other week anyway. Yeah,
and we would be like, I don't want to do laundry today. It's all day. And then we would have like no like clothes left. And we'd be like, all right, we have to do laundry. This is
Crystal made Jeffrey, put the credit card down. You're not going to buy yourself more underwear. We have to do laundry.
Simplify and be grateful and minimize. But having that like routine and working that in has really helped. Another thing that, to think about, I know a lot of you are doing like weekly meal plans, and your family kind of gets frustrated because like you're eating the same stuff all the time. Try to fill out a monthly meal plan or at least a bi-weekly meal plan. Because if you do a monthly meal plan, what that does is it kind of puts your meal plan on automatic. And if there are things that your family likes to eat, put them in multiple times during the month. You can have spaghetti once a week. It's okay. But then because it's 30 days, you're not repeating stuff once a week unless your family really likes it. It kind of helps from the meal plan getting boring, right? Because at a minimum, you're only eating things once a month. Yeah. But you have this plan for 28 days or 30 days that this is what you're going to eat. Yeah. It makes things a lot easier. And it's a lot less planning you have to do. Yeah.
And another thing that I like that Kristen does too is she's creative with the leftovers. So she'll make like a big roast. We're 2 people, and we typically don't let the cats eat at the table. And so it's like we'll eat a little bit of a roast, but then most of it's left over. So she'll have meals planned after that to help use up the leftovers. Now, someone like me, I am cheap and lazy, which makes me very effective at eliminating leftovers in the refrigerator. But a lot of people don't like eating like the same lunch 5 days in a row. And sometimes even I don't like to do that. So, you don't have to do that. And I know some people, if you have a couple kids, maybe that's, you wish you had leftovers that you could reuse. So, but if you have the leftovers, if you have the extra roast, sit there and go, you know what? I had pot roast one day. Let me try and make something with it, like burritos another day or or sandwiches like pulled pork pulled pork with your beef.
Yeah, that's going to work.
Later. But yeah, that doesn't quite work. But, come up with a few different meals and make sure you have plenty of yellow mustard.
But like one thing, one of the things that we do around here pretty commonly, we have an electric smoker. Mm-hmm. And so we'll make like a smoked beef brisket and we'll buy like a really big one. Mm-hmm. So like we'll have like, just sliced brisket one day. And then maybe a couple days later, I'll cut some of that off and I'll make it into beef stroganoff. And then another day we'll have enchiladas where I'll chop up some of it and put in enchiladas.
And here's a tip for the freezer people. Make sure to date everything you put in there.
Yes. Make sure you put dates on stuff if you're going to freeze it. Another thing is to have a few things in the pantry that we call Plan B meals. Mm. And these are things that like, say you look at your monthly meal plan and you've got something planned that's going to take 2 hours, except you have to get the kids to baseball practice tonight,
something comes up
and that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So we have what we call Plan B meals, which are, things like, macaroni and cheese and carrot sticks or celery sticks, hot dogs. We have hamburgers in the freezer. We have spaghetti with, I can make sauce in 20 minutes. Things like that don't require a lot of cooking, can be done super quick, just in case.
Have your Plan B meals because like everything in your business, in your life, there will always be wrenches thrown into your cogs.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then look at the things that are causing either stuff to build up in your life or that are keeping you backed up.
Yeah.
So for example, I used to have a real issue with mail because it was like habit that you hear the mailman, you would go get the mail and I would put it on the table and not deal with it.
Our mail table.
Right. And then we would have like 2 weeks worth of mail. And
the bigger the pile would get, the less willing you were to go into the pile.
Yeah. So we kind of decided that we now leave the mail in the mailbox until we know we can deal with it, which we still get it like once a day. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't go, oh, mailman's here, I'm going to get the mail. Mm-hmm. So we get the mail when we know we've got time to deal with it. We always throw out all the junk. Well, we recycle all the junk mail before it even makes it into the house. Anything that comes in the house, either something that needs to be shredded, which will be shredded immediately, or it's a bill that I have to pay. Mm-hmm. And usually those bills get paid the same day or the next day.
Yeah.
Just to like get rid of all of that crap. So I don't have to deal with it, so it's done. Think about like, what are the things in your life, right, that are creating your mail table and say, how can I automate it, eliminate it, outsource it, and just get rid of it from your life so that it doesn't hang around like the 2-week-old mail. Okay. I'd love to know what your tips are for simplifying your life. You can put those in our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/smallbizlife. Or you can comment on the post. Or you can shoot us an email.
Yep. A lot of content here. Go back, listen to it again. Listen to it again if you need to.
Yep. And, if you want we'll put the list of everything we talked about, including links to any products or anything that we discussed. You can find those show notes at smallbizlife.com. Click on podcast.
This was Small Biz Life.